The word of the Lord which we set our hearts to this morning is taken from John chapter 1. We'll read verses 1 through 5. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made. In him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. This is the word of the Lord. Dear friends in Christ, John Calvin once famously wrote these words. He said, "The human heart is a perpetual idol factory." Now, what he meant by that was that we human beings, we have this way, this knack, this ability to take just about anything in this world and turn it into a god, turn it into an idol, to worship it and to idolize it. Maybe just to illustrate that point, this last week I Googled just who in the world had the most Instagram followers. And these were the results. I didn't pull up exactly the right order, but the fact that in the top 20, here's who landed: 3 Kardashians and 2 Jenners. Right? The fact that those landed in the top 20 most followed people in the world, I think that's maybe proof that you and me, human beings, we will idolize just about anything. All right, maybe that was a little bit mean. I apologize. But here's the point, right? We human beings, we can do this. Right? We can take anything and we can idolize it and make a good thing into something that is we put too much attention, too much love, too much effort into it. Now, if I asked you what you thought were the most common idols of our culture and our generation, if I asked you what you thought those would be, you probably wouldn't come up with the topics that we'll be looking at for the next 4 weeks. You probably wouldn't say, yeah, definitely scientism and pluralism and hedonism and humanism. Those isms probably wouldn't pop to the top of your mind. But that's kind of how the human heart works, is it's really good at idolizing something and not even realizing it. Worshiping something without knowing that you're doing it. So that's what we're going to look at for the next few weeks. And we're going to start out with scientism. And we'll follow a very similar pattern every week. So the pattern will be this. We'll look at the definition. What is scientism? We'll look at what its advantages are, what its abilities are, what it can do. Then we'll look at what it can't do, so its downfall. And then finally, we'll find where we can find real meaning in this world. All right, so let's start out with scientism. What is it? What's the definition of scientism? So scientism is not Scientology. Those are two very different things. So I just want to get that right off the bat. Scientology is this religion that says that we human beings are basically aliens have inhabited us. Like the spirits of aliens have inhabited us, and they will once these bodies wear out and die, they'll move on and inhabit other things. Right, so that's Scientology, and maybe I oversimplified it a little bit, but I just wanted to distinguish between scientism and Scientology. Scientism is basically saying science can give us all the answers to the world, and we will therefore put our hope and our trust, our highest hope and trust, in science. Maybe another way to define it or describe it. Science is a word that means to know, right? To know something. So science is the study of what we can know through observations and repeatable tests and experiments. Scientism, then, is taking science and idolizing it, worshiping it, making it our God. So because scientism takes this good thing, science, and makes it the ultimate thing, makes a God out of it, it's probably worthwhile to take a look at this idol, this God of our age and generation, and see what it can do and maybe what it can't do. So let's look at the ability. What can science do? There are so many things that science can do. It can give us all kinds of answers to the how questions in life. Like how things work. So, for example, through science, I could tell you exactly how the internal combustion engine works. I should clarify that. Someone could tell you how the internal combustion engine works. I could not, but someone, maybe some sort of an engineer could tell you exactly through science how this engine works. That's what science is really good at telling us how things work. How does the sun and the moon, how do they give us light? How do viruses work, and how do you counteract them? That's been an important how over the last couple of years. Science is so good at giving us answers to a lot of the how questions of life. That's what it's really good at. But that's kind of where it ends. It can't give us answer to some of the deeper questions in life. Questions like why and who is behind all of it and what caused it. So there's definitely some amazing blessings that we get from scientific study. But there are things that it leaves lacking, that it can't do. Let me give you 3 unanswered questions of science, and there's plenty more, but I thought I'd just share 3 quick ones with you. 3 unanswered questions of science, what science cannot do for us. Science cannot tell us who or what caused the beginning of the universe. Now, scientists, whether they believe there is a God or don't believe there is a God, whether they're theists or atheists, all scientists say that the universe has a beginning. Now, they differ on how long ago that was, but they say it has a beginning. And everything that has a beginning has a cause. Something caused the beginning of it. The Bible has an answer for that. It says this. It says, every house is built by someone, but God is the builder of everything. Science does not have an answer. Right? Science will never be able to answer who or what caused the beginning of the universe. All right, let's look at another one. Why are human beings moral? As you look out into the world, one of the things that you maybe note, and everybody has noted this, that human beings are a little bit different than the rest of the creatures of this world. Human beings have this moral compass that so much of the rest of the world does not have. Where did that come from? How did that happen? Science has no answer for this question. One more. How did the universe become so finely tuned? Maybe you hear it in the news every once in a while. Scientists they've got this absolute obsession with finding other planets in the universe that can sustain human life, that are finely tuned to sustain human life. So they've got oxygen and the right amount of gravitational pull, and they've got water and things that can sustain life. Right? They're obsessed with finding other planets like that. And you'll hear about maybe a distant one every once in a while that they think they found. But it's not just the planet Earth that is finely tuned. It's actually the entire universe is finely tuned for life. I recently ran across this statistic this past week as I was studying. Those who believe that the universe was caused by a big bang, this huge explosion, they note that if that big bang, that explosion was, there should be a decimal there, 0.0000 followed by 57 zeros. Someone can double check if I got the right number of zeros in there, but 5701%, 0.0001%. If it was that much weaker, if the Big Bang was that much weaker, then the gravitational pull of the universe would have caused that Big Bang to collapse on itself, not allowing any life to form. That's what the scientific community has said. That is how finely tuned the universe really is. How did that happen? How did it become so finely tuned that human life is sustained? Science can answer so many of the how questions in life, but it also leaves a lot of questions unanswered. And a lot of really important questions, some of the biggest questions in life. But God, He has the answers for us. He says that there's something behind all of it. And Jesus, the Son of God, He's the one who gives us real meaning and purpose. He's the who behind all of it. This is the way that John said. The Word, referring to Jesus, was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through Him all things were made. Without Him nothing was made that has been made. Now that Greek word logos, what it really means, word is a translation for it, but what it really means is it means like the ultimate meaning and purpose behind something. The ultimate purpose and meaning behind something. So let me maybe give you like a modern example of what the logos of something is. So hypothetical situation, your friend invites you over for dinner, so you head over to their place for dinner. And when you get there, you notice that their grill, which looks brand new, it looks like it's barely ever been used, they're using it to prop open their front door. And then when you go in, you notice that the steak, this beautiful steak that they bought for dinner, they are cooking it on the air vent in your house, and the heat is turned up. All right, and when you see that, there's two thoughts that come into your mind. First, you think, I had no idea my friend was this weird. Eccentric, unique, right? I had no idea. And then the second thought that pops into your mind is, they are not understanding. My friend doesn't know the true purpose, the logos, behind their grill. Pull out your grill. That's what it's used for. Pull it out and use that to cook my dinner so it doesn't taste like air vent lint, right? Pull it out. Use the grill because that is its purpose. That's its meaning. That is its logos. In John 1, when John writes that in the beginning, Jesus, he was the Word. He's saying that Jesus, this logos, he's the one who gives meaning and purpose to this entire world. He's the one who created it. He's the one who designed it. He's the one who gives meaning and purpose, not to just the universe, but to you and to me and to everybody's life. He's the one that gives all of the answers. With him comes meaning. With him comes love. Science doesn't do that. Science is unable to give you that reassurance, that answer. It isn't able to tell you there's a who behind everything. No, science will say that you are simply here by accident, that your existence here on earth, it is simply a happenstance. You are here by mere chance, a mere accident. That's who you are. You have no meaning and no purpose in this world. Back in June, we celebrated the lives of two of our longtime members here at Crown of Life, Ruth Gerke, and then Bev Monjo. And we gave thanks that the Lord had brought them safe to his side in heaven. What a blessing and a reassurance to know that that's where they are. But the world, the scientific world, would say that those women, their lives, they were meaningless. They were here for 80, 90 years, and then they were gone, and that's it. That's all that happened. There is no meaning and purpose behind their lives. And the families who put their hope in a God who loved them, who created them, who lived for them, and who died to assure them that there is a place for them in heaven, those families that put their hope in that, they're putting their hope in fantasies and fairy tales. That's what this world has to say. Those women, they had no meaning, no ultimate purpose in this world, and neither do you. But you know that that's not true. It can't be. Right? John, he contradicts that, and he says that you do have a meaning. You have a purpose. He created you for something. He created this world for something. And you know all of that, and you live your life according to that, right? Or is it possible that at times we don't always live that way, like our life has meaning and purpose? Psalm 19, which we sang when read, says this. It says, "The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of his hands." This is saying that all of creation, in the entire universe, the skies, the trees, the birds, the animals, the stars in the universe, all of those things, they point to the fact that there is an unbelievable creator. This all-powerful God who made and designed everything, including you and me, and he placed it there. And all of creation points to that. When people look to the universe, they see a wise, powerful God. What about you? When the world looks to you, is that what it sees? Does the world, when it looks to you, does it see somebody who reflects the power, the might, the wisdom of an unbelievable God? Or do they see someone who is lost, who is searching? Do they see just mere chance, someone who's an accident? When they look to you, do they see someone who understands the power, the might, and the love of God? Or do they see someone who is just as lost and meaningless as some random planet soaring through the darkness of this meaningless universe? Friends, maybe we don't bow down and worship and trust in science above all else. But at times, we do live the same way as those who do. We live as though the people in this world and we ourselves, there is no meaning, there's no purpose behind it all. It happens when, maybe just one example, when you see someone who is in need, a neighbor who is in need, and you don't even stop to think about how you might help them. Instead, it's just a passing thought. It's just random chance that they're in trouble, and random chance will get them out of that trouble. As you see that this universe, the creatures of this universe, and even the inanimate objects of this universe, they sometimes do a better job of pointing to the wise, powerful Creator than you and I do. And that's why we need the love of our Creator. We need Him to remind us of who He is and who we are. We need someone behind it all to give us meaning, to give us purpose, to remind us why we are all here. And that's why Jesus came into this world. Right? John, he continues in John chapter 1 saying this. He says, in Him, Jesus, was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John is saying that Jesus, He's the one, the Son of God, who came into this world to give us life, to give us purpose, to give us meaning, and beyond all that, to give us His love and His forgiveness, something that we desperately needed. Without that, we would face meaninglessness. And the only way that Jesus could give us all of that was by facing meaninglessness in our place. And that's exactly what He did. George Herbert put it this way in The Sacrifice. This is written kind of from Jesus' perspective. O all ye who pass by, behold and see. Man stole the fruit, but I must climb the tree. The tree of life to all, but only me. Was ever grief like mine? Jesus faced ultimate darkness and meaninglessness so that you and I would never have to. Right? What could be more meaningless than the perfect Son of God, the one who created everything that we see and created us? What could be more meaningless than Him coming into this world, living a perfect life, living a life of complete love and sacrifice and perfection, living completely for other people, and then facing judgment, facing undeserved sacrifice, facing death, facing punishment, so that you and I could get the reward? What could be more unjust? What could be more meaningless than that? But that's what the Son of God was willing to do for you. You see, this Logos, this creator of the universe, He showed us His power and His might by designing, making everything that we see, including you and me. But then He showed us His love as well by coming into this world and using that power and might not to destroy us, but to care for us, to sacrifice Himself for us, to assure us that no matter what happens in this world, we don't have to worry about what comes next, to give us a meaning and a purpose. That's what the Son of God, the Logos, was willing to do. You know, it's really easy to get caught up in the logic of this world, which puts so much faith in science, and to listen to the people of this world who say that this earth, it's falling apart, it's not going to sustain, it's not going to last. So easy to listen to that logic of the world rather than to listen to the Logos, to Jesus, the Creator. When He says this, He says, as long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night, will never cease. It's so easy to get caught up in the fear and worries and the logic of this very scientific world and to think, man, where is my next meal going to come from? What happens if there's a food shortage? It's so easy to get worried about all of that rather than to listen to the Logos, the Creator, the God who lived for you and died for you when he says this, consider the ravens. They do not sow or reap. They have no storeroom or barn, yet God feeds them. And how much more valuable you are than the birds. Friends, when we start listening to and trusting in the Logos, the Word of God, above all else, when we start trusting in him above all else, that's when the people of our communities, they will look to us and they will see the power and the might and the love of God shining through us. They'll see the design of that powerful, loving Creator. And that is when they will consider joining you and me and all of creation in declaring the glory of God. May God grant that for Jesus' sake. Amen.